100 miles beyond mainland Britain lie Scotland's islands above all others. With the restless North Sea to the east and the wild Atlantic to the west. This is a place ruled by the sea. It can bring danger. But it's also the great provider, bringing endless bounty to the thousands of animals and people who call these ancient isles home. Remote, magical, and full of subtle beauty. This is wild Shetland, Scotland's Viking frontier. It's late January, and the Viking squads are on the march. Up Helia, Shetland's iconic winter festival has claimed the streets of Lerwick, bringing light to the darkness of winter. But as dawn breaks, it's the sea that rules. The mighty Atlantic unleashes her greatest fury. As storm after storm batters these isles, whipping the sea to a frenzy. For wildlife, it's now a battle for survival. Survival of the strongest. But Shetland's creatures have mastered this season and have what it takes to flourish here. For ill weather never lasts, and following every storm is the promise of calm. On the Isle of Unst, at the most northerly tip of Shetland, a young family is enjoying the winter sun. Only a few months old, and recently emerged from their underground holt, these otter cubs have been born unusually late. It's a strange new world, and the cubs, a male and a female, have a lot to learn. The family will stay together for a year or so, hunting these tidal pools and learning the secrets of the sea. But for now, it's all about play. Their experienced mother must always be on guard. The cubs are still at a vulnerable age. And danger is never far away. It's a male, a dog otter. If he's not their father, he could kill the young cubs. They're unaware of the danger. The mother grabs the first one, dragging it across the deep channel. The second cub follows quickly, sensing the urgency. The male doesn't pursue them. For now. But this is his territory, and the young family will need to be on their guard. Shetland is made up of over 100 different islands. Situated at 60 degrees north, they're at the same latitude as Greenland, and as close to Norway as they are to most of Scotland. Treeless with a cool oceanic climate, Shetland is fringed with over 1,000 miles of rich coast. Nowhere is more than 3 miles from the sea. Its influence is felt everywhere. Inhabited since the Stone Age, these wind-blown isles have been home to wildlife and people for millennia. Once a critical staging post for the Vikings as they navigated the Atlantic. Boat building and fishing are still important to the population here. Everyone lives by the rhythms of the sea. On Unst, the fierce winter storms have brought rewards for some. Tiny sanderlings and turnstones scour the broken kelp for scraps. Whilst in a secluded bay, the prize is even greater. A minke whale carcass will support these hooded crows for months. As long as they remember the pecking order of the scavengers. Ravens always come first. Nearby, the otter family has moved to the edge of the male's territory. The cubs are gaining in confidence, able to swim more independently and starting to explore. Each new object is worth investigating. Like everywhere in the world, climate change and warming seas are causing changes. In recent years, octopus numbers around Shetland appear to be increasing. For the otter family, this is a real treat. The mother must hunt every few hours to satisfy the cubs. And with the threat of the male still present, she chooses a hidden spot to leave them. Carefully stripping seaweed from the rocks to make them a bed. She'll do everything she can to keep them safe. It's April, and unusually for Shetland, the weather has been settled for days. The sea is now at her calmest, and the clear nights bring the magical northern lights out to play. Here at the most northerly tip of the British Isles, sunrise reveals a city. A city of birds. With more inhabitants than the entire human population of Shetland, this is the gannetry of Hermanus. 16,000 pairs of gannets jostle for space on the steep cliffs and stacks. Inaccessible to most, gannets have claimed these headlands for their own, painting them white with their guano. An otherworldly, almost mystical place. With an impressive 6-foot wingspan, they hang in the wind. Controlling their descent to the rock with the most subtle of movements. There are rules here, essential as space is at a premium. Nests are precisely located, each the same distance from its neighbors, measured as the exact extent of a pecking beak. Every bird now performs the almost ritualistic courtship display of these giant seabirds. The first seabirds back to the nesting cliffs, the gannets will now be bound to these stacks till August. On Fair Isle, Shetland's remotest inhabited island, the celebrities of the seabird world are also returning from the sea. Nervous as they first make landfall, the spring politics of puffin society are about to begin. Younger birds are searching the colony for a potential partner for life. For the last few seasons, they've hung around the edges, watching the old hands court and claim their burrows. Competition can be fierce. But at 5 years old, these birds are ready for commitment. Flicking their heads to showcase their impressive bills, the aim is to attract interest from a potential partner. But it's not working for some. This more experienced puffin is looking for his mate of the past few years. It's been 8 months since they were last together at their regular burrow, and he's late. She's already here and has a new suitor. There's going to be trouble. The argument draws in other birds, seemingly fascinated by the quarrel. In fact, divorce does occur, ending around 10% of puffin pairings. But not for these two. The suitor beats a retreat, and the pair are ready for the breeding season. On Unst, the clouds hang heavy. Even in late April, temperatures in Shetland rarely rise above 5 degrees. But the endless rain can't stop the otters. Raising cubs requires a long commitment through all weathers. It's rare for all the cubs in a family to reach adulthood. And despite the mother's untiring efforts, her female cub has perished in the cold spring. Now only her male cub is left. But with only one mouth to feed, his chances of survival are increased. And without his sibling, it's Mum who assumes the role of playmate, twisting and turning in the shallows. Play fighting strengthens their bond, as well as teaching the cub important social skills. The seas around Shetland are some of the most productive in the world. And fishing appears effortless for the mother. But the water is still cold, and the cub tires quickly. With such attentive parenting, this cub should do well. Especially as he seems determined to keep all the food to himself. With stomachs full, they can both afford to rest. For the puffins, it's a different story. All the breeding birds are now paired up, and each couple is intent on furnishing their burrow. On the stacks of Hermaness, the gannets too are busy. Nesting material is sparse here. But there's always a chance to swipe a bit from your neighbour. Programmed by nature, every bird in this superflock is intent on the same thing. Highly specialized plunge divers. Gannets also have exceptional eyesight, able to dive just meters from one another, hitting the water at speeds of over 60 miles an hour. Like needles, bird after bird they come. With their arrowhead beaks and special cushioning air sacs to absorb the impact, they can make up to 100 dives on a single fishing trip. Beneath the surface is their prize. They swim with their wings and propel themselves with large webbed feet. It's a frenzy to claim a fish. Thousands may congregate when the feeding is this good. But the supply is quickly exhausted, and birds depart en masse, back to the colony. It's May, and temperatures are slowly warming. The sea is now releasing her bounty, the great provider to all that live here. Rich fish stocks have long supported the people of Shetland. The prosperous houses of its capital, Lerwick, are a testament to the riches of the sea. An ever-constant presence. The sea brings each new weather front and shapes each new season and its wildlife. To live here, you must work with the seasons. And for generations, Shetlanders have welcomed the return of the light to these northern isles. Each summer, there's one bird that local people look out for more than any other. The Arctic tern. Surely one of the most elegant seabirds in the world. Arriving on the southern winds from their wintering grounds in Antarctica, their return signals the true start of summer. Often known as the sea swallow, it's their distinctive call that first gives them away. And sounds like their local name, the Terek. Here on mainland Shetland, colonies quickly establish. Such sudden activity is a surprise to some of the other residents. Like many seabirds, terns mate for life, but don't maintain their pair bond outside the breeding season. Now is the time of reunions. But for one bird, there is no bond to renew yet. His partner hasn't made it back. With the longest migration of any animal on Earth, she must cross 3 oceans to reach this Shetland beach and her mate. Finally, a familiar call. But after such a long break, it can be an awkward first meeting. A little romance is required. He gifts her a small fish, and they embark on a courtship flight together. Their bond is sealed. The frequency of storms has finally subsided. For the mother otter and her surviving cub, conditions are good. A shallow rock pool is the ideal spot for a fishing lesson. She releases a live eel pout. All he has to do is catch it. She is soon back hunting the reefs, able to handle the most slippery of catches in the water. The cub is still struggling to pin his fish down. Huge shore crabs are easy to capture, but much more difficult to eat. Her powerful jaws and sharp canines deftly open up the carapace. But crabs are the least nutritious of all food here, and maybe a sign that fish are less plentiful. They will need to move to another fishing patch, bringing them back closer to the male otter. It's June. On the cliffs of Hermanus, gannet chicks are growing fast. Further inland are more subtle secrets. Remote and unspoiled, but still dominated by the sea. The islands are laced with voes, shallow sea inlets carving the landscape. Lochans are claimed by shy red-throated divers. Whilst this far north, the moorland supports Arctic species found nowhere else in Britain. Groups of red-necked phalaropes gather at a few special lochs on the island of Fetler. They have travelled here from as far away as Peru. And that's not the only surprising thing about these birds. In this species, it's the dowdy-looking male that will incubate the eggs and rear the chicks. The more flamboyantly colored female will simply mate, lay, and leave. That's when she's decided on who to mate with. She needs a bird with stamina. But not all the males are quite ready for the responsibility. And finally, she has her mate. On Unst, the female otter and her cub have moved. Right to the middle of the dog otter's territory. And he's spotted them. Although females who share coastline often meet on friendly terms, the dog otter is only interested in mating, and the male cub can be seen as a threat, attacked and even killed. The encounter could result in a peaceful greeting or a fight. The female and cub take the initiative. It looks playful, but a bite from the male could be lethal. In seconds, it's over, and it's the dog otter that retreats. A mother's desire to protect her cub, the stronger force. He will not always have her protector. Before the year is out, he'll be leaving her and claiming a territory of his own. It's July. High summer has finally reached these northern isles. It's now light for nearly 20 hours a day. For the wildlife, this is the most intense time. Growing young must be constantly fed. And an explosion of color carpets the fields. Crofting is still important in Shetland, working in harmony with the land and supporting hundreds of wild species. On the shoreline, expectant mothers are gathering. These remote beaches are an important breeding site for harbour seals. But such activity is attracting new visitors. Orca pods cruise towards Shetland's coast. Seal hunting season is here. On mainland Shetland, the tern chicks have just hatched. At just a few hours old, the new hatchlings are already starting to wander. Bearing little resemblance to their elegant parents, these tiny pom-poms on legs are keen to explore. Boulders are quite an obstacle when you're only 2 inches high. Tough times may lie ahead. Climate change, fishing, and predators have meant not a single chick has fledged from this colony in recent years. Terns, like most seabirds, are in huge decline. The adults are now tasked with back-to-back fishing trips. Shetland's many shallow water bays can be productive, where currents bring fish shoals to the surface. Using their tail as a rudder, the terns are highly maneuverable, ready to dive on the sand eel shoals below. But where terns feed, others are waiting. Arctic skuas. Shetland's seabird pirates. Mirroring the tern's every move. Forcing them to drop their prize. The attack switches to a black-headed gull. And the terns make their getaway. It's quite a catch. The larger chick is finally game, but it's going to be some meal. They need to grow fast. In just a few short months, they will leave Shetland, flying 10,000 miles to Antarctica for winter. But the sea is a barrier to some who will never leave these shores. The Shetland wren has been isolated for so long, it's developed into a distinct island race, hardier than its mainland cousins. In the absence of trees, stone walls are important nesting sites. But ancient ruins hold darker secrets. On the uninhabited Musa Island, the 40-foot-tall broch dominates the landscape. Built as a dwelling by the Picts, it's been a shelter for both people and wildlife for over 2,000 years. Norse sagas tell of its use as a hideaway for shipwrecked lovers. Now quiet and apparently empty, this incredible structure holds a secret only darkness will reveal. Strange shadows flit across the ancient walls. And eerie calls fill the chamber. As it becomes darker, more and more gather, calling to each other like a coven of witches. But these are no supernatural beings. They're tiny seabirds called storm petrels. The smallest seabirds in the world, weighing less than a sparrow, they spend almost their entire lives at sea, only coming ashore to breed. Using a highly developed sense of smell, they seek out their nests in near pitch darkness. 7,000 pairs breed here, nearly half the UK population. Special low-light cameras reveal these tiny birds returning from the sea, battling the gale to reach their mates. Carefully incubating her single white egg for days at a time, this female cannot leave until her mate returns to release her from duty. He's made it, and she slips out before the early dawn, joining the throng heading back to the ocean. It's late July, and the hours of darkness are short, with the sun dipping below the northern horizon for just a few hours. A phenomenon known locally as the simmer dim. On the sandy beaches, many of the harbour seals have given birth to their pups. Born between the tides, they can already swim at birth. It's a hot day by Shetland standards, and tempers are fraying. The pups grow quickly on their diet of rich seal milk. And are soon ready for adventure. Ungainly on land, in the water the seals are transformed, playing and porpoising with surprising agility. The females are already turning their attention to courtship. Harbour seals can swim at over 20 knots. And sometimes a turn of speed is essential. The orca have arrived. An increasingly regular visitor to the Isles, and a predator few of these seals have yet faced. But wide sandy bays are too shallow for hunting. The orca must move on. The eastern skerries may be more fruitful. This pod are specialized seal hunters, but they're also a family. Three generations living and hunting together. And they must eat. The largest member of the group is the gigantic male, his dorsal fin nearly 6 feet tall. But it's the oldest, most experienced female who leads the pod. After traveling hundreds of miles of ocean, they're hungry. The matriarch knows Shetland has rich pickings in summer, and she leads her pod towards the pupping seals. But the orca aren't the only threat here. Even in late summer, cold winds can create harsh conditions for breeding animals. But the otter cub has fared well and is nearly independent, able to catch his own food. Keeping it is another matter. Great black-backed gulls commonly follow otters hoping for a free meal. It's an intimidating situation. And the gull's persistence pays off. Life as an adult otter can be tough. On the exposed skerries, the harbour seals are now facing danger. The orca pod is here. Carved by deep and narrow channels, this coastline is a much riskier place for a young pup. The orca cruise just a few feet from the rocks. On their low-tide haulouts, the seals are safe. But as the tide rises, each will have to enter the water. And the orca know it. Beneath the surface, the pods stop their clicks and switch to hunting mode. Total silence. In open water, this grey seal is in immediate danger. Orca are among the most formidable hunters on the planet. Confused, the seals scatter, unsure of this new predator to their islands. Working as a team, the pods search the indented coastline with clinical precision. The shallow inlet is risky for the large male, and it's the females who now move in to flush the seal. With intelligence and precision, the whales corner the seal. Each member of the pod playing their part. The seal's only option is to dive. The pod now circle above the exact spot where it shelters on the bottom. Killed by the orca bull's sledgehammer tail slap. It's a quick and merciful end for the seal. And the pod now share the spoils. Beneath the water, communications are once again resumed. and the pod retreats to deep open water. As summer wanes and the orca depart Shetland's shores, the seals are once again safe here. All the seabird chicks will soon be leaving these cliffs for their life on the ocean. For the Arctic tern family, as the spring winds brought them to Shetland, so the autumn winds will now take them south. Following the sun in their quest for a never-ending summer, before returning again next year to Shetland's remote shores. The otter cub has now claimed his own territory on these unique islands. Loved and revered by islanders and visitors alike, the Shetland otter perhaps best sums up this wild place. Living by the rules of the sea, bound to its ever-changing moods, calm and bountiful, yet fierce and powerful. The Shetland Islands are wild, surprising, and truly special.
Caught in a storm, Ramesh Ranganathan reenacts Titanic. Follow his misadventures on BBC iPlayer. And tomorrow, a familiar face makes a welcome return to the den. And how about a slice of cake for dogs? That's at 8. For next, a film to warm the hearts of a nation. Gemma Arterton and Bill Nighy star in the network premiere of Their Finest.